Welcome back, everybody, to another episode, great episode with the three bros and a mic. You know who we got here, man. Zay, Mark, Mike, J, Mac.
Yes, sir.
But we got a good episode, man, and it's a juicy one. I feel like we're going to get a lot of comments, man. If not on YouTube, put them on YouTube, but I feel like they're going to be texting us.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to pass the mic again to Big Brother Mark. Go ahead, Mark. What you got?
All right, y'all. So another hot one. I think all the ladies at some point in your life can relate to this one. Okay. Very simply put, if a man isn't ready, you can't make him love you. Right?
Drop a clue bomb.
So
Can't
I mean,
do it.
how many times have you heard, female friend or heard on the radio or, heard in an article, a book on the TV or whatever it is about females, especially out here in Atlanta, talking about the ratios are already crazy. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was talking about, hey, all these successful women out here doing their own thing, entrepreneurs, got all this money, and the only thing they need is somebody to share it with, right? But so all the guys they run into, they say, hey, I'm not ready to get married. I'm good. I just want something casual, But
Okay.
a lot of these women still push on with those dudes, right?
Right.
And with different expectations outside of what they were told from the guy, right? The guy told you up front he didn't want nothing serious,
Right.
but you were hoping that you change his mind along the way, right?
Mm.
All right, but you trying to make him love you.
Right.
If he ain't ready, there's nothing you can do to make
Can't
that change.
force that situation.
You know what I'm saying? What y'all think about that, man?
But what if he needs like a little push, like a little pressure?
So that's the gamble.
Hey.
You willing to take? You willing to take that gamble?
And I think that's the game. Yeah, that's the game. That's really the rules of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that
And it's a fine line.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Like a lot of women or men, you know what I'm saying, go into these relationships, and if it's communicated by the spouse or the the person that they're interested in, that hey, here's where I'm at, you know what I'm saying, here's what I'm trying to do. Right. I think that before you decide to continue forward or to press forward in that situation, you got to ask yourself, well, is this something that I'm really willing to
Put time in.
Put
time
energy
into?
and time into.
Can I convert his mindset, right? Can there be a mindset or a mind shift as far as his perception on this particular topic? So I think that that's something that everybody has to assess individually before they go into it. But if a person isn't ready to do something, I mean, they're not ready. So
It just feels like. Go ahead, Mike.
no, that was ultimately what I was getting at. Like, you can't force somebody to love you if they're not ready.
At the end of the day, you're right.
Right. And it
100%.
just feels like women are trying to change men more than men are trying to change women.
All the time.
Right.
All
It
the
just
time.
feels like it's happening more and more and more.
All the time.
And I just wonder why. Like, why is it such a gap in
Disparity.
disparity? Yeah,
Right,
that's the
right.
word. Yeah, and why women feel the need. I guess.
I think there's some just cause to that question, Jimmy Mack. I think that men do take a lot longer to mature than women.
Yeah,
Of course.
I think
There's
that
research for that.
men stay in a pocket of how they think a lot longer than women, as far as like growth and forward thinking with relationships. Like, I mean, I think we're forward thinking with a lot of things, such as like protection and investments,
Right.
and building and growth like that. But as it relates to like the house and the family, like a lot of the nurturing side of a person and developing that,
Yeah.
women definitely have shown to be better at that.
Way more advanced.
You know what I'm saying? Far more advanced. And I think that's why they feel like they can. There's a lot that we can learn
Expertise.
from women.
Right.
There's a lot that we can learn from women, and there's a lot that I think that they know that they can offer to a man. And I think that's where a lot of that optimism comes from, with them trying to change or introduce a guy into like this new aspect of how to think through things, how to think through a relationship, how to love, love differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they know that we're very like empiric thinkers. They know that like we're very like structured with
that type
some
of
of
thing.
that type of stuff. So
The average man, right?
the average man.
right.
And so, I think that it's just their intent to try and, introduce us to something different, something, that we just naturally don't have, that we innately don't have, that they do. And I think that's where a lot of that stems from. So I think that's a fair approach, but in all honesty, that's even with that approach, I mean, they got to understand, that it, you know, it's 50-50, right? So while you may try and attempt to, you know, introduce this man to this way of thinking, into this psychology,
rolling the dice. It might
it's
not
a roll
turn
of
out
the
the way
dice.
you think.
You know, and so like if that guy still isn't ready, if that guy still isn't willing or open, you know, to accept what you're trying to, you know, show him or have him experience, then, you know, you can't expect him to he's not going to marry you.
Right, you can't make a horse drink water, man. You
Right.
can lead him to the water, but you can't make him drink.
Right,
You know?
Right.
What you think about it, Zay? I mean, think about this, breaking down like the nuances that Mike was just talking about. You know, how women approach situations, right? And in that case, they become the fixers, right? They say, hey, I'm going to take on this task of fixing this man to my liking.
So
You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that approach? Is that a good approach for women to take? You know what I'm saying? And how successful can that really be?
Come on, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't think you should ever go into a situation. I mean, people are going to show who
Up front.
they're going to show you who they are.
Up front, right.
And it's going to be on
Oh,
you to
or
think
eventually.
that you can
Right.
change that person's path or whatever the situation may be.
Right.
I don't think you should ever go into a situation figure like, okay, this is who he is, and I can change him. I want him to be in more of the image I think he should be in,
Right.
and
Okay.
going towards that direction and try and force that person to be a square peg going into a circle hole.
Exactly.
So you can't be frustrated with nobody but yourself when the situation don't turn out the way you think it should,
That's right.
because he let you know from the jump, this is who I am. Accept me for who I am, or you need to find somebody else. But in your head, you was like, okay, I could be the difference. I can change him,
Right.
and I can
He
make
ain't met
him
nobody like me.
right. Yeah, I can make him conform to the way. It was like, come on, man, no way.
Or it's a
No
difference
way.
between changing somebody and building them up.
Right, yeah,
It's a
facts.
complete difference. That's
Because
what we're
then
talking about.
because the difference is, Mark, you want to be like, okay, you building me up. We in a partnership.
That's
I'm
right.
trying to
We
work
going
towards
places.
a goal together.
Right.
But you say you trying to conform. You trying to make. I'm a grown man. You're not gonna make me do anything. You're not gonna put me into any personification that you think I should be.
Right.
And I'm gonna just fight against that even
Yeah,
harder
Right.
than in a normal circumstance, because I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to manipulate the situation to make me be who you want me to be.
And there's a thin line between mothering and being a loving wife
Right.
or in a relationship.
Or yeah, just
Same
in a
way,
relationship.
like-
just
Right,
yeah.
being a partner. And
Right,
mothering.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You can easily tip over to that other side
Right.
and thinking you're helping the situation, but
you're
you're really
hurting.
not.
Hurting.
You're really hurting it, and you're thinking you're doing what's best for the spouse
Right.
or for that particular partner. And then if you don't pay attention to be present,
Right.
you won't know that you're really hurting the situation.
Right.
Maybe it could be your approach.
Right. Or then you think about it and you get into the grand scheme of things, like, how can I adapt? Or am I willing to adapt to this person? You know?
Right.
Instead of trying to make them be something that they're not, am I willing to accept who they are, and can I adapt myself into the situation so we can be successful?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think for me, my wife does really well with challenging me, but she does it in a way, I think, because she knows me. She does it in a way that doesn't make me feel attacked. You know,
Belittled or anything like that.
yeah, it makes me feel like it's all out of support
Right.
or out of love, and I think she would receive it if I were to do that for her. But it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's just like not embedded in me to be like, let me find something to make my wife better at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't-
like
I
how
don't
women,
think-
most
yeah.
women
Right.
do. Like they go into it like, you know what, he's got all of this except for this one thing. So how
Exactly.
can I,
to check this
That's
one
what we're
last
talking
box.
about. We're
That's
talking
what
about
I'm
trying to
saying.
build them up, right?
Right.
In a situation, that's what it sounds like. She's trying to build you up, which
Right.
is good,
Yeah.
as long as she doesn't try to change you in the process. You know what I'm
right?
saying?
So it's
Right.
like I don't know why I don't know if it's just the chromosomes that are in us. Like we just
Right.
don't
Right.
go around like, you know what, my wife's got, or this girl that I'm dating has all this. She don't have this one thing.
Check
Nah,
this
we-
last
we ain't
box.
think like that. We
You
don't
know
think
what
like
I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, fact.
You get
We
what
don't think
I'm
like
saying?
that.
Like,
We're
I
good
don't
with
do
what she's
any guy
showing
like
us,
that.
Right,
right?
yeah,
Either we
right.
good or we not.
Right.
That's
It's like I'm taking you for face value right
right.
now.
Right.
Everything you show me,
And everything
right.
you showing me, like what did Dennis Green say? We are who we thought,
Right,
who,
yeah,
they, who we thought they were. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
They are. Right,
So
yeah.
it's just like, yeah, I mean, that's a good. I mean, ooh, that is. I mean, I think about before I proposed to my wife. It was like, it wasn't that I didn't love her. I'm trying to get myself together because I know what I want to do.
Right.
But in order for me to do that, there are some things that she may not understand that I have to do
Right.
on my personal side.
Your
Right.
process.
My process. And even when we were dating back in the day, it was like she was, ready to be in a relationship, I would assume.
Right.
But me, it was like I know this feeling all too well.
Right.
What I'm feeling, this excitement. Right. I've been in a relationship like that before, and I she probably didn't like it, but I was like, I did not want to jump in, and not so quickly. Right. In my eyes, not so quickly. I was like, man, let me go out here and make sure what I'm feeling is really what I'm feeling. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like let me go. I mean, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend then, but I said let me just go out there and see, like, okay, if I'm with another chick, am I going to be feeling the same way I'm feeling when I'm with her?
Right. Right.
And I got my confirmation. Hanging out with someone,
Exactly.
like, all I thought about was her.
That's the big word, confirmation. I think as guys, we need confirmation or validation. Right, Mike? We're talking about females are ready to jump in quicker than we are. Right? They say, hey, look, he takes off most of my boxes. I'm good.
Right. I can work with this. I can work with this.
Right. But we like, it's either yes or no. Like either I'm ready or I'm not.
Right.
Nothing you gonna do that make me change my mind. Yeah, I got a friend, that when I was getting married, I say, hey, look, bro, you next. He was like, nah, bro, I got 2 years. So what you talking about, bro? You love her, right? Yeah, but ain't nothing to do with it. I got 2 years, bro. Because again, we got this plan in our mindset, right?
Yeah.
We know what we got going on, whether it's personal, whether it's finances, whether it's career,
right?
Whatever we're trying to do, we got it planned out. Because, hey, this is the woman for me, right? But there's nothing she gonna do to make me change my timeline for her,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no friend,
and it's nothing wrong with that. No judgment,
right? Yeah.
Ain't no clique that's
none
gonna,
of that,
right?
Persuade me to up or change the quickness of my decision,
and that's fine, right?
There'll be some people, I don't know about y'all, but it's been many
pressure.
people pressure. Like, y'all been together how long?
Right.
You ain't proposed.
Sometimes family do it to you, bro.
Let me tell you this, man. I got.
What you got to say?
I got kind of something to piggyback off of that, man.
What's that?
It was a conversation, you know what I'm saying, that I've had at work or whatever, and overhearing different stuff like that. And the situation was, it was like, how long is too long? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, shout out to the episode.
Yeah, facts.
Yes,
and it kind of touched back on that. And she was just like, yo, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, whatever the situation may be. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what's going on? Like, I'm about to give him an ultimate, like, if it ain't this year, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, and this is going to be a terrible example. Terrible example, man. But Melo and Lala, they dated for so many years, and then they got married, I think, after their 10th year of dating.
Right.
But society saying, what's the holdup?
Right.
Multi-millionaire basketball player, an accomplished actor, MTV VJ,
right?
All this show,
right.
all that.
Both of y'all doing your
What's
thing.
the holdup?
Right, yeah.
But you're not behind that door.
Power couple.
Really,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
all that's face value.
Right.
But what's happening behind that door?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And as long as I think the two people, the couple, have an understanding of what the end goal is,
Right.
or what the process is going to be.
Right.
I think if you got that and you're a team and a united front, I think everything else you can deal with.
Right.
But
what if it's not though, J-Mac? In this situation where it's kind of a disconnect.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? One party is like, okay, they own what we've been saying, like, I got a plan.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I need to check off all these boxes.
Right.
But the other partner's like, hey, man, your time about up, man. Like, what we doing?
That's it.
See, that's what I'm saying. When you let the
Where does that
people
join?
jump in,
Yeah.
when you let the outside forces come into your house,
Right.
all of a sudden your perception will start to change.
Right.
Like you know what? It never fails. It could be a male group or a female group. They start, you start seeing what they're doing in their relationships, and they look at you like, but y'all, how long y'all been together? Why y'all not together? What's happening? Oh,
Right.
what? Oh, who he cheating on?
And then you feel the need to explain, right?
Right, yeah.
See, that's
Right.
that pressure
And
come
the
back
doubt
in.
start
man.
to creep in. Like, why am I really?
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Am I really ready to get?
Right, yeah. Fact.
Is she really the one?
Right.
Because my partner got married in 6 months. So what am I doing
Right.
3 years later?
Oh,
Right. Oh, that's,
Speak
hey, look,
on
so that's
all
a question
bro.
I get out.
Bro.
How long it took you to realize your wife was the one? I'd be like, hey, man,
Hey.
everybody's different.
That's
Don't
it.
put me in that box.
That's
it.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
That happened in the past, bro.
Yeah.
Like seeing my ex at the time, man, when her cousins were getting married in 3, 4, 5 months of dating,
Oh no.
and they start looking at us
In the 20s, 30s.
We, late 20s,
Nah,
late 20s.
Nah, bro.
And I'm like,
Nah, bro.
I'm sitting
Nah,
like, hey,
bro.
I always
Right.
my answer every time was that's their situation.
Right.
You know, like, but why what's the hold up with us? I'm like, bruh, like,
Come on,
you
come on.
really
we
wanna,
not
you
them.
want to open that up?
Right. If you
What
really
got?
want to
Mike,
go
what you
there,
think, Mike?
What
Like
you got,
your
Mike?
situation for your friends, your family. What you think about that pressure, man?
So I was actually, I mean, I was hearing everybody, but my mom was thinking of something
totally different.
totally different, but related to this.
Okay.
Right?
Go
So-
for it. Go for it.
Because I feel like there's somebody listening to this episode right now that's hearing this. Because right now we're telling everybody, you know, if a man's not ready, like you can't force him to love you.
Speaking to the choir right now, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts.
So I mean, we're telling people that, but I swear, like there's somebody listening right now. There's a young lady or a group of young ladies listening around that's saying like, I hear you, but what's taking y'all so long?
Oh,
Right,
not with the
I mean,
hands.
literally
Hands
clapping
out,
at
yeah.
clapping as she's hearing this joint. So
Right.
I mean, I was just in my thoughts, and I'm thinking like,
What else do y'all need?
Right.
so what is it though? Like for real, like, and let's be critical as men, like,
There's
So
no one
specifically,
that's a
answer.
legit,
specifically,
yeah, specifically,
there's no one
because
answer.
That's the one
Right,
answer.
yeah,
Right.
facts.
It's subjective.
Right.
I'm almost certain it is.
It has to be.
not when it's
Not
that
really?
it is subjective, but
Yeah,
like when
to
it's
a certain
across,
degree.
because it's subjective to a certain degree. It's subjective to a certain degree, but when
Okay.
it's across a broad spectrum of so many different situationships,
Yeah,
relationships,
shit,
where
relationships.
everybody can relate a lot. I'm sure there are a lot of
There's
women
some
that can
generalities
relate,
in
where
there,
it's just like, yo,
Yeah.
it can't be all of y'all that's just not ready.
But then I think also plays a part is comparisons. And I'm not saying comparisons are always bad, but in this case, it always seems to always end up wrong.
They're never good.
Because it's like
In this situation.
because essentially, I think a good number of those women who are watching us right now are comparing their girlfriend situation to their situation,
Always.
Right.
and they're like, "Oh boy, done bought
Yeah, that's
bought
true.
his girlfriend a house,
Right.
and a car, and this, and here I am still sitting in a duplex, kind of thing. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
We've
And
been together X amount of years. What are we doing?
like, why are we still stagnant? Oh,
Right,
we're
yeah.
stagnant.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know my vision,
Right.
You know I'm sacrificing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know I'm grinding.
Like you've already seen my vision board,
Right.
for the year,
Right.
So you were down then, but when you get around your girls,
Right.
it's
Now
a
my pace
whole-
ain't
yeah.
fast enough for you. Now
Right,
you
right. Now you're coming back with a whole
Right.
other plan.
Right. Fast.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think, not saying your friends can't have opinions about whatever's happening, but it's what you do with that information.
Right.
Like for instance, like if y'all tell me something about oh man, you need to move like this, I'm gonna listen to you. But what I do with it is what I do with it.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
But I think a lot of people, they take it and they say, you know what, you're right. You're right because you're looking at their situation, but that's not your situation.
Right. Yeah. You can't let it.
You know what I'm saying? I respect what you're saying. Like, you know what, you and your wife, y'all moved like y'all move and y'all successful. I may not be there yet.
Right.
Not saying I can't be. I just move a little different.
Right.
So I'm gonna look at my situation and say, you know what can I change to become successful?
Right.
But not do it the way y'all do it because I may not be able to.
Right.
or
Well,
not
there's no
comfortable
one
to.
way to do something.
Right.
There isn't, but that's to me. I think the missing link, man, is or maybe it's not missing. It's just not being revealed in terms of what needs to happen when you have conversations amongst couples. Because you can have a conversation with a couple and you could just flood them with. This is what we do.
Yeah,
This is what
yeah,
we
yeah,
do.
right, yeah.
This is what we do. You should do this too.
Oh,
it
yeah.
only costs us this much to do this.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
well, we're investors. We got this. We got that. We got this. We got
Right,
that.
right.
And then all of a sudden you're sitting over there. No offense, but like
Looking at your own plate.
Right. Yeah.
You're looking at your finance like, man.
Right.
Right.
All we gotta do is this, babe. And I'm sitting there like,
Come on, man.
If it were that easy, bro.
Right. Yeah.
it was that easy,
Everybody be
man.
out here
Like,
living,
come
right?
on,
Right,
man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we got going on, man. So
I mean,
right.
I think, like you said though, like if a man's not ready, and I think you can flip it on the other side, but mostly it's the man.
Right.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
You know, if a
women
man's-
have their own time.
Right. If a
Yeah,
man's
most
not
timeline
ready-
is important, but like
Yeah.
generally men get
most
mature
part.
later on, right?
Right, yeah.
It takes us to like our mid 30s to be
Like
like,
Mike said, like,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Specifically, let's talk about like women like, okay, mid 20s, they say, okay, look, I'm good, I'm into my career, or I mean, I'm settling down, whatever, I'm ready.
Right.
Mid 20s, guys like, wait a minute now.
Right.
25.
Yeah.
I ain't started living yet.
Right,
what you
yeah,
talking about,
man.
man?
Yeah.
I'm just,
Like,
I'm just out of college, bro.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
my
like,
prime now.
you can
I'm
rock with
building
me,
my
you know what I'm
career.
saying? Like at 25, you can say you can rock with me if you still here at 35. Then it's okay, then. But
Right.
But I'm not gonna just pick you at 25.
Right.
What if I miss some? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta allow some time. You gotta think about that timetable, man. Guys just take a little longer
Right.
to get to that ready step. You know.
And I think another, having a vision, I think really will solidify your relationship with a woman. Because I know, I think speaking for all of the women up here on, that you guys are married to, I think if you had a vision, they would rock with you. They would rock with you to the wheels fall off if they know that your vision is concrete,
Right. You believe
solid,
in it.
and it's doable.
Right.
Now, if you
got
a
conviction.
guy out here
Right,
and you just shooting out hopeless dreams,
Right.
like yo, I'm gonna do this, and there's no fruition out of it,
Right.
or just any inkling of progression,
There's no work.
then
Right.
then you're not gonna have a woman or a wife who's gonna respect you,
Right.
or love on you or support you. But if a woman sees the effort,
Oh man.
oh man, that's more than half the battle.
Right there.
Because then it's like, you know what, okay, he can't do this because he's trying to better himself and better our family or better our relationship.
Right.
But if you ain't bringing that to the table, that vision, that purpose of what you're trying to do with your life, then you're gonna have what you said earlier. You're gonna have these women out here like, well, when you gonna do
Right,
this?
right,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you gotta be patient. Goes back to patience.
Patience. Yeah, I was thinking
Right.
about
Back to
that.
patience.
Right,
You
right.
gotta have patience. I mean, because not everything. Again, like I think a lot of couples see the end result of other couples' success. They weren't there during the trenches.
They don't know.
Exactly.
They don't know that man or that woman had to take on 3 or 4 jobs.
Yeah.
And then every time they got paid, they put X amount of dollars in this savings account,
Yeah.
or
Right.
in that crypto, or
Yeah.
whatever the
Right.
case may be.
Or that they almost didn't make it 3 or 4 times. Right.
Right,
They
yeah.
almost
Right.
split up, almost got divorced. Right.
Or they couldn't meal preps. They had to take one meal and spread it 5 days.
Right.
All of
Or
that.
you miss meals.
You don't
Okay.
you don't know that.
Right.
You see the
You don't know their story,
You
man.
see the end result,
Right.
and you're thinking that's it.
Right.
Like, nah, man, they're struggling in
Right,
success.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for
What we
sure.
put into
For sure.
this to
Most
get
of
to
it is
this
like
result.
that.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't see that. Like
Right.
they like it's with kids. They see their favorite celebrities. They see the end result of the
Right.
success.
We're in a microwave era, man. They just want to.
Like,
Right.
nobody
You go.
wants to see the struggle.
Right.
But Kobe didn't get to where he was without
Overnight.
struggling.
Right. Heaven.
Right.
Same with Braun.
Braun and all
Same
that.
with Mike Vick. All
Yeah,
of them.
all of
They
them.
all had to
Right.
go through their hard times. And I
Right.
think that's the message you got to get out to the people who are in these relationships
For
now.
sure.
You got to go through the hard times. Don't
Not an
avoid
overnight
the
process, right.
Yeah.
The hard times are inevitable.
They're important. It's important.
Yeah, and
They're
it
inevitable.
builds character too.
Exactly. You got to face it head on.
Right.
Because if you every time you try to avoid it, you just making that hole bigger,
Yeah.
bigger, and
Right.
bigger,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
And that's funny because it's like that's the one part that nobody really ever talks about. I mean, we hear about like success stories, your Tyler Perry's and your
Right.
Oprah Winfrey's, and like these people that were sleeping out of their cars
Right.
and they were homeless
Right.
and all of that. But like those are the parts that are always swept underneath the rug.
Right.
And like Zay said, it's a microwave era. I mean, almost an air fryer era. You know what I'm saying? It was half the time, and people
Right.
expecting it just
7
that much
minutes.
more quick.
Man,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
like that.
So, I think you brought up a good point, Jimmy Mack, and I think that's I think the takeaway message that we should
Yeah.
really push. When we're talking to friends, and even for ourselves, just as a reminder. Everything won't happen instantly, and we shouldn't compare ourselves and our situations to that
Other
of the
situations.
Joneses,
Right,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying, or everybody else. So,
Right. It's no cookie cutter situation, man. Everybody's situation is gonna be different. Everybody's journey gonna be different.
Yeah,
Facts.
as long as that man is showing you the vision, and he's showing you that he loves you with all his through his actions,
Action
Right.
speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Fact.
all of that, then you can withstand and stick it out and not worry about the not quick success, but the successes of others.
Right.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Influence,
Yeah.
yeah.
As we talk about all the time too, we mentioned communication is important.
Yeah.
Right?
Fact.
It's so important, man. Like I said, y'all on the same pathway, and you know that y'all rocking together because y'all talking every day, or every night on what the expectations are. Then if the end goal it takes a little bit longer to get there, then you know that that was the plan all along. It wasn't no, hey, well, I don't know what's going on, so I'm out. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause so like I said, be patient. Communicate and understand that your aim shouldn't be to change who you
Anybody,
rocking with.
right, yeah.
Okay, you can only change yourself. You can't change nobody else. First of all,
Right.
And it's different. You want to build somebody up, that's fine. Build them up, but If your aim is to change them, you need to be by yourself, baby, because
Right.
it ain't worth it.
With that communication, last thing, man, communication, add listening to that.
Right.
Because you can talk all day, but if you ain't listening,
Man, yeah.
then what's the point of communicating?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Comprehending, listening, man. So,
Right.
great episode, fellas.
Hey, man.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
Hope y'all loved
For
it
sure.
too. I know
Hey.
y'all loved it, man.
Hey,
I know y'all loved it,
Definitely,
man.
definitely,
So,
man.
Tell us how much y'all love it, man.
Yeah, man. Subscribe, smash
Let's
that
go.
like
Let's
button,
go.
share. Let everybody know
All
what's
that.
going on, man.
All that.
You know, we got big things in store.
Yeah, special
y'all.
guests.
2023.
Oh,
special,
man. We
special
can't wait.
guests,
Ooh,
bro.
they coming.
Ooh,
New
y'all don't want to
man.
miss it.
Facts.
Y'all don't want to miss it, man.
Hot
oh,
topics.
My goodness.
See us growing. We in
Yeah,
the studio
man.
now. We got big things for
Big
our-
things, man.
for
Sure.
y'all, man.
Three bros
Hey.
and the mic. Shout out to my
man.
sister-in-law, man.
Y'all
grab a
Sincerely,
drink.
Cinnabon.
Drink, man.
But I want to toast with the audience, man. Tell them to grab a drink real
Grab
quick.
a drink
Hey,
with us,
is-
man.
we got time? Can we give them 30 seconds to grab a
30
drink?
seconds,
Hey,
man.
man.
Grab
No
it.
Look,
doubt,
they
man.
might say grab a drink real
Grab
quick.
a
Grab a
drink,
drink,
man.
man.
Real quick, pour up real
Go,
quick.
go now.
Hurry up, hurry up. We counting down.
Facts. Meantime, between time, y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, tell your cousin, your auntie,
Sure.
your niece, your
Sure,
nephew.
for sure, for sure.
Watch us, man.
Yeah, mama
Sure.
them,
Yeah,
man.
everybody. Granny.
Sure.
Don't know what y'all drinking, but again, we had to like this. Somebody had to come back twice.
Yeah,
man.
we had to run it back.
Here, do her again, man. You
For
know,
sure.
Facts, man. So
Silver all
smooth.
day,
so
man.
smooth.
All right, man. What we got?
Hey, well, it looks like they 30 seconds.
30 seconds up.
looks like they ready with us, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
y'all rocking with us. All right,
Appreciate it.
let's go.
Hey, we love y'all, man.
Good night, man. Love y'all, man.
No doubt.
Until next time.